We like to build up all the anticipation.
Wait for it.
Let's say hypothetically that I don't know anything about fly fishing.
Yeah, right?
It was like this instant 8-way man crush.
I'm on the fence.
The time we've been doing this podcast, I've never seen Uncle Buck perk up his dolphin procreation. Like you just flipped up out of your chair.
Yeah, he just blew out his blowhole.
What are you talking about?
And that's pretty much my dream coming true is to actually meet you guys.
Yeah. Well, I'm the humblest guy I know.
Work and do trade shows in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania. You meet some pretty wild guys.
You blew it! I'm the worst PR person ever. Fire me.
Welcome back, everybody. You're in the current. This is Uncle Buck. Who do we have with us tonight?
This is Dave.
I'm Catfish.
I'm Kyle.
I'm Steve.
And I'm Will.
Hi, Will.
Hello. Hi, Will.
What's up, guys?
Not much. It's been a week, guys.
Well, yeah, big week.
Big week.
Big week.
Big week.
Not much to talk about.
No, not at all.
No.
Bless your
Nothing
heart.
happened.
I think Catfish could probably take up the whole show, really.
Steve, let's start with you. What did you do?
I didn't do anything.
Whatever.
Next. No,
You had a great week.
I had a really fun time on Saturday at the Donegal Trout Derby with my kids.
I heard you pushing kids out of the way so you could fish.
Yes.
You know,
Is that a true story?
No,
I got
yes.
it on film.
not at all. Not at all.
No,
I heard
no.
some short drifting was on the menu.
He's teaching his kid to short drift.
So
Listen, he was like, what are those monarch or whatever penguins? Like he had his
Emperor penguin.
Emperor, yeah. The emperor penguin. Like he had his like little girl stand on his feet while he whipped the lures out.
So my three kids there, 3, 5, and 7, and my daughter's. So she was just there. She was just running around playing with stuff. But my boys was trying to get them, to catch some fish, and
They did.
My youngest son did. Yeah, we caught 3. So it was a lot of fun, and it was cold. Man, it was 37 or something like that. And the kids were getting cold. The one had to take a break, but we caught 3, and that was worse than. I didn't realize there was going to be that many people there, but it was worse than the first day. Like shoulder to shoulder was an understatement.
You had to short drift.
Yeah. Oh, you had to. There was no. There was no way around it. But I mean, I had. It was no problem. Yeah, it was no problem. There were some kids. I waited till they. Needed
tagged out.
But with this crowd,
you watched them rebait and then you threw right in their spot. Yeah.
But Stevie, with that crowd, you could just stand behind them and cast over.
There was no overhand cast in there.
There's a big tree around there from the pictures, right?
One big tree.
Yeah.
Right?
Okay.
But there was a goose nest that was roped off.
Yeah. Right beside it, she was on the nest, and the gander was watching her.
Yeah.
He was not amused.
Not at all. My one son kept. Let's go see what that goose is doing. Like, stay away from that.
He'll learn, man. Just let him go.
No, just leave it alone.
She's grouchy. Don't do it.
Yeah. No, we caught a few, and then the next day, I was able to get my kayak out for the first time.
Wait a minute, bud. Nice. Back up, because I got to have an amazing pancake breakfast with your daughter.
Oh yeah, and my wife.
And your wife.
Yeah, I was busy fishing. With my sons were busy fishing, and you had to.
I was teaching your daughter that there's no reason to not use all the syrup on the table in one pancake. And then we were toasting our chocolate milks, and we had a good morning.
It was such a good breakfast. I wish they'd do that every week.
The guy's like, "Do you want sausage with that?" And I said, "Yes." What kind of question is that?
Is that even a question?
Those guys at the what do they call the Donegal Fishing Conservation Association? They just did a bang up job. Like that was. I don't go to a lot of trout derbies, but I mean that has to be one of the most organized, generous events. I mean the fish that the kids were pulling out of there.
600 trout they put in.
5 kids get to keep 5.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
we untangled a few lines, but it wasn't horrible.
No, it wasn't terrible.
And they measure the big ones that come out, and
what was
the
top
top 2
was
22, 24.
I think it was 24 and a half.
I got some
Yeah.
pictures of it. I'll put it
Oh,
on.
That's a
man.
good sized trout.
And they weren't like, it was, half as round as it was.
that's awesome.
There was a
Will got some good
Pig.
pictures for their Facebook
Yeah.
page, so
Did
you
they-
can check that out on what's their Facebook page?
Oh boy.
Donegal Creek. Something.
Now, were you guys about to say there was prizes for the first and second?
Yeah, they
Actually-
did a free mount.
Actually, the first, they gave out free paid mounts.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, that's great.
It was so much fun, and there was no. You walked down a hill, wrote your name on a notebook, and started fishing.
We were there we were there early.
Okay.
Me and Will showed up early. I'm not dogging on you, Steve.
No.
But we saved Stevie a spot. But a lot of people came, and I felt bad as an adult trying to puff up like a turkey, going, "This is my spot for my friend."
Yeah, you couldn't. You
No,
couldn't.
you
They had a small area for 5 and under kids, which was where we caught our first fish. My 5-year-old caught one there, but
The post is a little ways down. DONEGAL. Donegal Fish and Conservation Association on Facebook.
Yeah.
It's a public group, so
You can see some pictures of it on Rotten River's Instagram too.
yeah. But they were awesome. That was such a nice event.
There was a trout literally caught in the underwater fence, and everybody tried
Yeah.
to get it out. And what was that thing that you had on your?
Castmaster.
So the fish warden came over because I was the only one in that area throwing the Castmaster. And he's like all nice, and he's armed, and he's standing behind me, and I'm throwing this thing, and I'm trying to snag this fish because it's alive and it's trying to swim. It's stuck in the fence, and he walked, and I look over my shoulder real slow to the left, and I'm like, "Oh, hey, buddy!" I said, "See that trout? I'm trying to get it loose," and then. Right after that, he come right up to me. He's like, "Oh, down a little bit, left, go left, go left."
So
He's
he's
like,
there
"Now."
helping
Yeah, so we were both over there trying to snag this trout.
You got it too.
We did. We finally snagged it and pulled it free, and it swam off, and I felt like I did something good.
Yeah.
But I think he walked over thinking I was an adult fishing.
It did kind of look like
It
that.
did, but I didn't care.
But we caught 3. We took 3. I don't normally keep. We don't.
They wanted
eat a
you
lot
to
of
keep
fish.
them.
Yeah, they weren't gonna.
Yeah, you're
stick
not putting
around
this
in there
back.
long. But so we took. We took our 3 home, and I cleaned them, and I was rinsing them off, and the one fell in the garbage disposal.
Oh, that sucks.
They're slippery.
I'm gonna say though, as an outside perspective, non-trout fisherman,
Yeah.
watching Will versus Stevie pick fishing spots, Stevie wins hands down.
in what way?
Will's like on the fish, and I come over to Stevie.
I was on 30 fish. I'm like,
Stevie had
please go over there.
Stevie had a good spot, but he's never. I don't know if you never put on like a grade A pair of polarized glasses. I gave Stevie my sunglasses.
Holy buckets!
And it was literally like night and day. Like he put
Oh,
them on, and he
man.
was like, "Oh my gosh!" Look at this.
I guess we're not. it was
X-ray
just-
vision.
He was fishing in a pile of
Do
seaweed.
you really need to ask if I've ever put on a high quality pair of polarized
You
glasses?
mean there's a difference between the ones at Walmart and the ones?
I'm just playing.
They
it up.
cost more
That
than
sounds like
$10.
spending money.
But no, there was most of the people were concentrated in one small area, and we
Yeah.
kind of flanked them a little bit and cast
We
it over.
had
them
a
into the-
spot, but you would not go there.
I had
Anyway,
He had 3 of the white
I had to go-
palominos swimming in front of where he was.
yeah, we didn't.
Yeah. I had to get Pancakes to calm down. 'cause
I
You
know.
wouldn't.
But you
Pancakes
guys
calm
help.
everybody down.
Yeah, I appreciated you guys help with my
Absolutely.
kids. That was nice to have other people there.
I had you know what the biggest anxiety I had all day wasn't all the kids, wasn't the game warden watching me snag fish. It was literally all the fishing rods laying on the ground with like 50, 60 people walking around.
Yeah.
I was constantly looking at people going, whoa, don't step on that.
Easy, yeah.
Because there's fishing rods laying everywhere in the grass, and nobody's looking where they're going. I was walking around picking people's fishing rods up and going, "Can we set this somewhere else?"
But all in all, some of the cutest kids ever.
Oh, my gosh.
Some of them were scared of the fish. Some of them were all about it. It was crazy.
That was my one son's first trout, and so that was pretty
That's
cool.
a good day.
nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
And he didn't want to stop. He was freezing, but he didn't want to stop. So that
It was a
That was
chilly
good.
enough day to get your hands cold. It
Yeah.
was a chilly morning. Yep.
yeah.
Kyle, didn't you go to New Jersey?
Yeah,
How'd that go?
not good.
Oh,
the,
man.
Alrighty.
the weather was not very conducive
No.
to, like you guys said, it was a cold weekend, so it wasn't very conducive to trying to get out and fish. So I ended up just help the in-laws down there work on their place. But I did actually officially become a member of the Rod and Gun Club by my house. So
That's a good week.
yeah, so I'm kind of excited about that. They actually have a stocked pond that they put trout and largemouth in. So
Rifle range, archery stuff.
yep, they got rifle.
Cool.
They got
Can't
rifle
beat that.
range, pistol range, skeet trap range. So
Far
it's
from your house.
far by being like an eighth of a mile down the
Yeah,
road.
it's not far.
That's a no-brainer. Yeah.
So
That's cool.
I'm pumped that I officially became a member there. So looking forward to that. And
They
then-
put trout in there?
Anybody
Yeah.
out there listening to this, if you're not a member of your local gun and rod club, outdoors club in general, normally they're like $5 to $20 a year. I mean, it's ridiculous how cheap it is to go, and they have spaghetti dinners and they have all kinds of stuff. Go check that out in your local area because that supports them as well.
all kinds of stuff.
I'm like a member of like 3 of them around us.
I'm probably a member of more of those than anybody at
Yeah.
this table here.
Jeez.
But it's
I saw where you were going.
You
there.
know the most
It's
about
for
Rod
the,
and
it's for
Gun
the trout
clubs.
ponds, right?
yeah.
Did they charge you extra to fish the trout?
No,
Out of the
it
pond?
comes
You don't have to
yearly
get a
with your
special
membership.
stamp or
Yeah.
anything.
Well, New Oxford down here, New Oxford Rod and Gun Club, they have they raise pheasants and they have, I think, 60 acres where they,
nice.
yeah, you can hunt pheasants and
That's
stuff on their
cool.
property.
You know, the one thing that was kind of like alarming is it seems like a lot of the active guys are like, older.
That's
And- and-
that's
and
most clubs.
Like I gave them a hand Wednesday evening with cleaning out their intake for the pond, and it's like I was the youngest one by about 40 years.
Well, that's the thing.
That's
yeah,
most every club
yeah.
I've ever seen.
Yeah, but it's
Maybe
definitely,
we have to start a new club.
yeah. But yeah, for all our listeners out there, if you guys aren't members, definitely go out and join your local rod or
That's
gun
good
club.
advice.
Wasn't one of our guests tell us maybe the guy from OC Maryland,
Scott?
Scott? He said if you really want knowledge, no, it was Jim. Jim
Yeah,
Hutchinson.
Jim Hutchinson.
He said if you really want
Go to your
knowledge,
local bait shop,
go to your
get-
local bait shop, spend your money there because the information you can get, you can't buy that. Like you can't. And the same thing, if you go to one of these hunting clubs and you walk in, there's like 6 guys in their 60s there. Don't just think, oh well, this is an old. The knowledge that some of those guys have is inconceivable valuable.
I've learned a lot of
If you
different
sit and
things.
talk to them, they can tell you things that you can't
A
learn.
lot of
at
years
the,
in
at the
woods
shooting
right
range.
there.
There's been, I've learned a lot of different things from those guys that are members of those clubs. They have the experience, and
Absolutely.
it's nothing like we're not reinventing the wheel with a lot of the stuff we do. So they have some experience in that.
Any guy that has an old Mitchell and an old odd 6 in his truck literally probably can tell you some stuff.
Yeah.
Because they know some things.
and they're all more than willing to share their wisdom and knowledge with you.
That's cool.
Uncle Buck, you got anything cool?
I got outside a little bit this past weekend on Sunday. A couple of my buddies, Will and Catfish, and I got together and we did some photo shooting, some videoing, some just B-rolling.
We had fun.
It
was a good morning.
But and that's what I had most fun.
So
It was
we're putting together, and we haven't really talked about it, but we're putting together a new website, and we're starting to do some videoing and different things like that's going to be featured on the website. And so that was a day for us to get out and do a photo shoot or two. And
We want to be able to put faces with our voices down the road too, more so than we've done before.
we got to shoot bows together. I mean, and laughed and
Robin Hood.
That's what I was getting ready to get into. I
thought it was
witnessed
Phil's
my
arrow.
very first Robin Hood ever.
You never
Catfish.
saw one before.
it's on film
Not
too.
live, not,
It's 100%
not in
on film.
person. Like I've seen it on the movies, seen it on
what
it.
the funnest thing about shooting Robin Hood, I give it to him. I'm like, hey, go hang out with the other ones.
Yeah.
I made him go hang out.
And
up
little
there.
Uncle Buck's on his tippy toes and can't even get up there. I mean, making me feel like a little kid. Thanks, buddy. I appreciate it.
First Robin Hood of the year always makes you feel good.
Yeah.
But it was we laughed a ton, and had fun, and you guys even helped me break a barrier.
You did. I was going to bring it up, and I tell you what, you actually were pretty natural at it.
What'd you do?
I got up off the ground a little bit.
Did you?
Definite double the nosebleed height on me.
Yeah?
Definitely.
For a climber.
First time ever in a climber stand.
In a climber stand.
You wow.
Congrats.
I'm a good teacher. He made it about 8 feet.
Really?
And
I couldn't do that.
Catfish is.
You could do it.
You're more than a good
with-
teacher, Catfish. You're
Without prodding.
You're patient. Your passion for the outdoors.
Can I tell them, may I speak about you shooting my bow?
Yeah, I couldn't even draw it back, guys. Yeah, go ahead, have fun with it, bud.
Because we were trying to do a quick photo shoot of Phil shooting, and they're like, "Go get him a bow." So I grab my bow, I bring it down, I give it to Phil, and he, "Shoot it, bud. Shoot it into that dead tree over there."
I might as well grabbed a grand piano wire and tried to pull it back.
But the best part was he shot 3 arrows into the dead tree at like 20% back, and it was so much fun to watch, and we had so much fun.
A great grouping, though. My grouping was on.
It was impeccable. Did you have fun? So now you got like a little taste of a climber stand. You got to sit in it, use it, go up and down. So you see kind of what it's about. It's stealthier, quiet, portable, and
Scarier.
it can be. This stand's not so bad, but
No.
That one's actually pretty nice.
I prefer my climber over most lock-on stands.
I do too.
Oh, I feel a lot safer in a climber than I do a lock on.
I do too.
Why is that? That's completely opposite.
I need
to
a
what
new
I would
climber.
When
there.
you're in a climber stand, the part that goes around the tree that straps it to the tree literally kind of hugs your body, so you have some bumper rails.
Yeah.
When you're in a lock-on, you're sitting in a seat. There's nothing. It's wide open.
Yeah, it's like an open seat on the tree. And
I
you're
wouldn't
just
say fall asleep in a climber stand, but
It's comforting.
I have.
you
It
feel
happens.
snugged in it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Compared to a
You definitely
lock-on,
doze off.
I would never try to doze off
It
in
was
a
a-
lock-on. You're
Hell,
not gonna make it.
not at all.
It was definitely more of a secure feeling.
Yeah.
And then to literally as you're working it up and how you set it in and then you sit on it. Well, if it can handle my butt sitting on the very front edge of it, it's going to handle my butt sitting on next to the tree on the back.
Did you feel safer in this than you did in the stander you hunted out of
In the double wide?
fall, in the double wide?
Yes.
Really?
But I wasn't near. I was probably half the height
It's
of the tree.
different when
I
you get
will-
up there, right?
and I'm sure it will
Okay.
be. But
Would you take a climber that high as high as the double
How high
wide?
is that stand?
I only go as tall as Kyle.
Really? That's
Sometimes if you're in the right place, 10 feet's all you need.
I hear that.
I could have gone higher on Sunday.
Really?
I wasn't nervy at all. I didn't get the sweaty palms. I didn't get the vertigo feeling.
That's
I
because
could
we
have
were
gone.
having fun.
Yeah, my mind wasn't on heights.
But tell me this, how much fun would it be to go in the tree you were in next to the creek and bowfish out of a climber stand?
Oh,
That
dude.
was
As
yeah,
a
that-
carper swimming by, you could bowfish out of the climber
I don't know
stand.
why you don't have it hung there all the time.
You ever done that?
I totally
Oh, that's
forgot
another
about it, and then I
podcast.
forgot to go get it, and then I went down the next day, and it was snow on it. I was like, oh, man. So I brought it up to the house, and like everything else, it's out in a corner now in front of the four-wheeler. It's
Yeah.
boat seats and climber stands. But anyhow, it was I always wanted to do that. I always wanted to go up like 6 feet and shoot a carp out of it. I thought it'd be fun.
Yeah.
We
Why not?
we just had
you
a,
think you could do that in the middle of the night, in the morning, by yourself?
5 a.m.
Using a climber in the dark's a little different.
I was
You
going
gotta
to say
be used to it.
I think it'd be a lot easier to say I could do that now
Challenge.
than to do it. but yeah,
Sitting here, you could
I'll try it. I'm not going to.
by yourself.
I find one of the biggest challenges with a climber stand is not using it or getting it set or sitting in it is actually trying not to sweat getting up and down the tree. So, like, you don't want to get all sweated up and get cold.
I'm basically in my underwear when I go up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When you're using a climber stand, believe it or not, when you go up, getting set, get turned around, getting everything strapped in, getting like mine's a self-leveler, those levels I showed you, the knobs, you can break a pretty good sweat just trying to get ready.
Here's my
Especially trying to do it quietly.
Here's my biggest problem with a climber in the dark and hunting public land is picking the wrong tree.
Yeah.
And you get up and I'm not using a self-leveling stand. So you don't want to pick one that's going to definitely like decrease in diameter. You
hard to do in the dark.
Yeah, and that's hard to do in the dark. So
you get up there and your stand's facing straight down.
There's been plenty of times where I've climbed up and we're like, I got to go back down.
Yeah.
And maybe pick another tree, maybe adjust the straps.
Right.
But
well, when you start, it's pitched so high.
Yeah.
You get up there and it's pitched down.
Yeah.
You're like, I picked the wrong tree.
Yeah.
Like the trees.
No, the physical diameter is smaller. So
as you go up,
the straps on your climber aren't set correctly.
When you put a climber on the base of a tree, the climber's not level; it's upright. Like so, as you climb the tree and the tree gets smaller, it levels out. But if you're not high enough and you want to go higher, it starts to tilt down.
Okay.
So you feel off balance. You don't want to stand on it feeling like you're falling forward.
It's pretty much a guessing game.
And if you're really good, you can adjust
all.
the straps while you're in the tree.
That's difficult, but yes.
Yeah.
Oh man,
And that's fun in the
Mine has a knob on it where you take pressure off and you spin the knob and it self-levels the stand.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't recommend trying to adjust it while you're in the tree. I tried that once.
Really? With your weight on it?
Yeah, and I almost fell.
You almost cheesed
I was
it.
hanging by my armpits from the upper.
I did that last year. I was not having fun. Yeah, but I'd literally have like, the tree strap, and then I have like one for around my waist, and then I just do like a quick 3 wraps with duct tape around the tree.
And you have a pillow also, like duct tape to you.
I put a pillow on the ground.
Yeah.
Underneath me.
Carry an
It's
air mattress
camo.
in with you.
This is all while he's sitting 5 feet up.
Oh,
Phil, I can honestly say I had a nice weekend. That was a fun time.
It was a great weekend, and then I got out to see you guys again a little bit later on that evening.
Yeah, we'll get to that.
Yeah, that's a story for another time.
I would like to talk about, after Deke goes, about the deer farming, because that was a total.
So
like
I
we
forgot about that almost.
We've talked about Donegal Creek, but after Donegal Creek, me and Will left and we went to the Harrisburg Farm Show complex.
That's right.
And they had the PA Deer Farming
Deer Expo,
and
Which was put on by the deer farming type industry.
It wasn't anything that I was expecting, but a pleasant surprise, because it was different than what I expected.
Yeah.
But I learned a lot, met some really cool people, and got to see some of the mega bucks. Like I'm talking 600 class bucks, 660-inch class bucks that were have been farmed by these people. And to watch them interact with each other as a social group and talk to each other and overcome some of the attacks that they have as doing what they love to do is no different than the attacks on hunters, attacks on people that love to shoot guns. To watch them come together as a group and have knowledge to be able to talk about that and grow as a community. As an outsider, totally alien to it, was an extremely cool event.
The science and the stats and the things that they're scrutinizing daily about
the
deer.
diet
they
they give the deer is crazy. So, they know what they're eating to the T. And what's that, Stevie?
Let's say hypothetically.
You don't know anything
I don't
about
know anything about deer farming.
No.
You're relatively new to deer farming.
I'm relatively new to deer farming.
Yeah, just go with it.
Why would someone farm deer?
So I had the same question, and I asked a couple people there. They're no different.
There's way more reasons than you would ever realize.
Yes.
Yeah.
That was the big thing.
Yeah, like an hour-long explanation on that. So kind of some of the things to break it down are a lot of them, like no different than cattle, chickens, whatever. That's as what they're raising them as. The genetics of getting them bigger and healthier is no different than the Arabians breeding horses to get better and bigger and stronger, and your Arabian horse is now worth $1 million. A straw full of semen out of headgear went for $650 for one straw.
And yeah, whatever that is, you know.
I don't even know what that is, but it's, you know, frozen to you take it and put it in one of your does or 5 of your does or whatever, and then you get his genetics.
Are these for? They're not raising these for meat, right? Or we raise them for a special
there's all kinds.
ranch for someone to.
All that.
Okay.
Like from hunting to meat to
genetic studies.
Genetic studies, science.
Wow.
They use the entire animal from hoofs to ears, like they use
dog bones.
Yes, they literally use
just ornamental racks. Like there's some farms that are just producing, like the idea is to produce the racks for
the sheds that fall off, and then you see these great big elk chandeliers. Well, now they're doing them with whitetails and furniture made out of them. We saw some amazing furniture that was on for auction. I wish I had a couple $1,000s because I wanted to buy everything there. A lot of that was Amish and Mennonite made, because there was a lot of that there. There were a lot of those people there that I was shocked at that. Like that, there's a big part of the community there that is Amish and Mennonite that are in the deer farming business. So
that's pretty new for us, then, right? To get into that topic.
Oh, 100% to go to that level, you know, and we pretty much walked into it and got smacked in the face with it. Like,
it is. It was like, oh, hey, just one day I know nothing. I don't even have a driver's license, and one day I'm interested in racing, so I'm going to go see what it's all about. And you walk through the door and they throw you in Earnhardt's car and push the gas pedal. You know, like that's how it was for us.
Cool.
And you just run into anybody, and they're going to tell you their story. They're going to tell you their products. They're going to and they're happy about it, and they're very organized, and they're a tight knit group, and that was really cool for me to see, and pretty much every stereotype that you hear, you know, they're like, that's not really it.
No.
You know, you're not getting the right information, and
we'll talk.
That's unfortunate. We're gonna
talk more about. We're gonna have some guests from that show.
That's
hopefully
great.
on the
I
show.
can't wait for that
to talk about the myths of, you know, chronic wasting disease coming from strictly deer farms, and like there's a lot of things that factual might be fed to the public that just isn't true. And it's, you know, it's a shame that, you know, hey, bumper stocks are bad, ARs kill people, whatever. Deer farming's the devil, and it's just not all true. It's kind of mainstream media. And don't really know that till you get into these group of people and listen to them and hear them, and like they're all in competition. They're all farmers, you know, dairy farmers are all trying to sell their milk to the same buyer. Mm-hmm. But this group of people totally mingled and supported each other. There was no bickering competition. Like it was really cool.
Really?
And the auction itself was so organized that they were selling front covers of magazines for their deer. You were auctioning off, like I said, furniture. They were auctioning off memberships to different organizations.
Yep.
Really, and not to mention the fact that we just showed up out of nowhere, probably one of the only two people with camouflage on as hunters, not many. And they gave us a meal ticket, gave us an amazing lunch for free. Like all you could eat barbecue, pulled pork, and all the fixings, mac and cheese. And I must have had 10 iced teas while I was there. But it was like you just walked up and anybody would talk to you.
That's
Literally
cool.
anybody would talk to you. Actually, believe Tipton, Timbertall was there, which is in
Tall Timber.
Tall Timber was there. Yes, they were there. And I met that guy once before. And as I walked by, he totally just started talking to me like he knew me. And I was like, oh, yeah. I knew I saw him and I knew I've talked to him. But to have a person like that to remember you and invite you in his booth and talk to you spoke mountains of the type of people that they are.
Yeah.
They're farmers.
And we ran into Joe from Hunting PA.
Yes.
That webpage.
Yes.
Nice. Good, super guy. Yeah.
I believe that any of those people could be farmers of dairy farmers, cattle farmers, whatever, emu farmers. They chose to be farmers of white-tailed deer. I'm not saying the knowledge of raising cows and stuff isn't crazy, but the knowledge and the science behind whitetail farming was far surpassed anything that I
would have
thought.
never. I mean, I knew there were deer farmers, but I would have never put that.
I mean, they're just picking the same, like any other raising of livestock. They're picking the better traits.
Correct.
And making sure they have a good, healthy lineage.
And they take care of these animals like they're their own children. It's
Oh, you
amazing.
should see the plumage on these deer.
I learned what BAM is
What's that?
because in the auction I tried to buy a tranquilizer gun
no way.
out of the auction.
Did you?
He bid on it, but he lost.
Yeah, I bid on it, but it lost. But you can get like a vet
That could be
sign off
fun
that
with.
you can trank animals, and it's the drug
have
they use
to
is
have
called
that.
BAM. And
Yeah.
I just wanted it.
You have to
I was
have
going
a
to shoot
vet.
Kyle in the butt with it one of these nights.
That sounds like a good time.
Bring him down.
Elephant
you, man, but you're
tranquilizer for
crazy.
Kyle.
But just like that, the knowledge of
Little
what we
ketamine.
learned, we could talk all night about what these guys taught us, and we could have spent all day there. So
That's pretty awesome because I saw that event was going on. I think I saw like a Facebook event thing going on, and I saw that was a Deer Expo, and then read that it was about
The farmer.
farming, deer farming, and then I was kind of like, but I'm glad you got because you're bringing more light to it.
any hunter in Pennsylvania that wants to know more about penned deer, farming deer,
Or deer.
or just deer, like these guys, not just farm deer. If you want to know the anatomy and a deer's life, and gestation periods, and why its eyes are what color it is, these guys know it.
Oh, nice.
Everything's tracked, and the statistics. That's the other thing is, in the wild, CWD and all that
Yeah.
stuff. I'm gonna butcher all this, and I don't mean to, but like
No,
in
it's
the
all right.
wild, you got a handful. You can probably count on one or two hands. How many they're kind of publishing or whatever.
They are the most highly regulated farming industry
Livestock. Yeah.
in the entire industry.
Okay.
Of anything.
Yeah, that's the point I was going to get to. Is like every one of their deer is documented to the T, dotting the I's, weight, height,
Watched daily.
watched. Everything, and then to compare that to the data that you get from a wild population of deer it's just
Minuscule.
minuscule. I mean, it's like it doesn't even compare to what they're able to.
Did anybody around this table ever go to Penn State main campus to the deer farm? Or
No.
they're not. It's not the farm, but like
Yeah.
I've been to one
I
in
was there.
Bedford.
Yeah, I was there.
Bedford has one.
Yeah, I mean now I think it's not open to the public anymore at Penn State.
I
main
was a kid,
campus.
yeah.
Yeah, that was pretty neat. And that's kind of what I always picture. Because it's fenced in. They're doing research on those deer and the agriculture of deer there. So
Now, there are some of these deer like we talked to a few of the people, there are some of these deer that are raised to hunt. High fenced hunting.
yeah,
And free game hunting, like free range hunting. There's 2 ranches in Pennsylvania that are free range hunting. Their properties are that big
okay.
that their deer population won't leave. But at the same time, it's like when I thought about deer farming, when I thought about high fence hunting and just raising big bucks so that rich guys can pay $20,000 to shoot a 400 class buck,
Man.
it is nothing what it was about. Like
Yeah.
I was so closed-minded about deer farming until I went to this. So I actually encourage every hunter in Pennsylvania and you could join their organization right there. No different than NWTF or the NRA, whatever. If you have questions or ever wondered what's more, it's 1,000% more than you think, and just go support these good people and check it out. Like
farmers.
I'm not hugely into high fence hunting, but it's so much more to that.
It's absolutely.
Really, so
Deke, do you have anything before we go further into our Sunday or weekend?
I haven't really had any outdoor adventures since the opening weekend of trout season. So
bam.
Hey, I gotta ask you, how did Jordan do on the first day?
I have not seen him, so I don't know if he actually got out.
Oh,
first
I
day.
thought-
but he's been bass fishing though. I know he has been.
Okay, I thought he was going trout
he-
fishing with you.
No, you gave him 6-pound test. So you're
Yeah,
like, I might
that's
as well
it.
go bass fishing.
I didn't want to bring that. I didn't want to bring that up unless,
Will did.
yeah.
No, but
Exactly.
No, I got away to our family camp in Perry County, and we had a good weekend. It was good. It was good to get out. Good to be around my cousins.
I tried to get up there. I just couldn't make it happen.
It's okay. It happens.
Yeah.
Were you invited to Perry
Everybody
County?
was invited.
I definitely.
I was not invited to
I
Perry
missed
County.
the Perry
I was
County.
invited
I'd
to
have
New
been
Jersey or wherever.
There is some pins dropped on Google Maps for people. And
I'm so not on your thread. What thread is this?
Yeah.
I don't know what
It's
he's
a deep
talking
thread.
about.
Bam! It's a deep thread.
You're gonna get tracked.
You're gonna get.
But Sunday, when we were out Sunday, I mean, there was nobody out the streams. It was very
Desolate.
empty. Yeah.
Good.
But Saturday was very full because I think it was the holiday weekend.
Stevie, have you caught a trout this season yet?
I was at. It's been slow.
no.
I don't know why. I was at the
Not counting Donegal.
I was at Yellow Breeches before I came tonight, and the crick chub bite was red hot.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Why
and-
did you not keep them?
And,
I need them for bait.
Do you?
Yes,
I
please
should-
put them in your
I
cooler.
will.
Put
I
them in
will.
my.
Here's the thing, Stevie.
You know where my live well is. Stop and throw it in there.
We gave those that fishing kit out.
Yeah.
The prize for trout season. Okay.
Uh-huh.
You did not want any worms on it, right? Okay.
No, well, he
Oh,
didn't want
here
to
we
put
go.
worms.
Guess
Bam!
What, guess
Worms are on.
guess what the hot bait was for the weekend?
Corn.
Night crawlers.
Was it?
Yes.
Candy corn.
All,
That
all
was
I
like-
said was I can't ship
Snake
worms.
clowns.
Oh, okay. But
Remember?
we gave money
Ship
for
worms. If
Wow.
you're shipping
worms.
worms,
Gummy
buddy,
worms.
you need to see a doctor.
We
What's a ship worm?
We were using mealworms at the Donegal.
They work.
Neil's worm.
We're
Not to be
Meals
confused with
worms.
worm ship.
Sunday morning. My one cousin and I. That was the only thing I was catching fish was like 2-inch long pieces of night crawler.
Little red worms, yeah.
Yeah.
Little night crawler.
Yeah. But no, I did have a trout on tonight.
We had
but,
2 trout
I
on
shook
with
it
your
off.
boy
Did you?
before we got tangled with some. Yeah, it was a good morning.
Now,
Yeah.
can I ask, did anybody like yell backpack or peg leg when they?
No. There
I was
probably
afraid
a
the
lot-
goose was going to attack us. I wasn't saying nothing. And there was 1,000 kids running around.
Yeah. Let's
Yeah.
get on to this Sunday.
Yeah. So
Sunday.
Where can they find us, guys?
right after, yeah, right, right after I left the PA Deer Expo, I headed over to the Kinseys had their archery banquet,
Yeah.
which is always great. They do a lot of giveaways, a lot of.
Did you win anything, bud?
I did, yeah.
What'd you win?
Stuff.
Just stuff. Yeah.
Bam.
Oh,
Did you win a BAM?
Tranquilizer gun.
Antler ice?
No,
That'd be nice.
some arrows.
game cam. I got.
You got a new game cam.
It's not for me though. I always just put it back in our kitty. I don't win stuff. When do I ever win anything?
That's a hint for next
So-
year's Rutten River dinner.
Yeah.
Keep talking about it.
Keep asking me what I want.
It might be gone by next year. It's a pretty long time away.
I
to
can
have
show you where he hides all this stuff.
It's over where we put all our giveaway stuff.
It's the hat box,
Once-
man.
It's
the hat box.
How much you want for
When
that
somebody
game cam?
gives me a hat, it goes in there. When somebody gives me a game cam, it goes in there.
Yeah,
I don't
yeah.
keep anything.
we like to give back. Yeah.
So how was your banquet? Anything else?
Oh, it's always good. They do.
Did they have dinner?
They do a bang up job. They did barbecue for the 3rd time.
Nice.
That day,
Yeah,
we had barbecue.
Pancakes and
We had
barbecue.
Pancakes, barbecue, and barbecue.
yeah.
Did you have some barbecue on Sunday then? You just needed
Did
it
we?
for every meal.
Oh no, we had like
Oh, we had a hoagie I'm sorry. We had a hoagie and jalapeno poppers. We were in a hurry.
Yeah,
Oh,
and
that
then
I'm like, eat that. Let's go.
I had
Eat
as
that.
fast as I've ever eaten Italian sub.
Why were you in a hurry?
I even got a call late night. Phil,
So
what do you got in your fridge?
So back up
Make it
just
for
a
me.
hair. We on Sunday we did this impromptu photo shoot
Yeah.
to kind of get this ball rolling for the website, and
I didn't see too much of you modeling from.
It's there. We didn't
Okay.
do anything.
I was kinda
Impromptu's an
concerned about
understatement.
I had 7 cameras on, and
Oh,
what do
he-
you want me to do? You want
At
me to
one
take
point,
pictures
I
of me?
looked at him
I
and
want
said,
some pictures of you, bud.
Oh, well then show up and take pictures.
Burn.
At one point, I looked at Will and told him, I said, are you going to Niagara Falls? Because that's what it looks like.
I was pointing at Godzilla.
Oh, bless your heart.
But like we had this really nice morning in the tree stands photo shoot video, and Phil had just left, and then
Will,
Will-
before we get into this, we're not going to get to the topic hat tonight.
Oh.
No.
And I
Sorry.
apologize to
We don't
everyone
always
who's...
have to do that. Yeah.
Well, it's a really nice feature that I think I apologize to everybody. I know you guys
Well,
are
we
huge
warned them
fans of-
last week. If there's too much content, then we'll do it.
We're still
next week.
waiting for more topics to come in to add to the topic hat.
That's
from
true,
our
too.
Good
listeners.
point.
So
I've got a great
Hit that
topic.
comment section
I know we have...
What happened Sunday afternoon?
after you left.
So we pulled out a
It's
topic,
shaking.
guys.
Yeah, hold on. Phil, do it. It's a shaking.
I'm shaking the hat right now.
It's
What's
a
the
shaking.
topic for this week, Phil?
What?
Out of the hat.
And it says, what the hang? Tell us about Sunday evening and afternoon.
After Phil left from the photo
After
shoot.
Phil left the photo shoot,
We
what
saved
the
all
hang
we
happened?
saved all the best stuff for after Phil left. The first thing out of my mouth, I think, was, "Will, let's eat." And Will's like, "You want to get a sandwich?"
How about barbecue?
Oh, boy.
I have to bring it up there real quick. I have an extremely steep driveway, and Phil with that giant diesel is amazing at backing up without getting hit at the top at the blind turn. Every time
bottoming
you
out.
back out, I'm going, I don't know how he backs out without getting hit by an oncoming car.
A leap of faith, bud. Every
Just
time.
go.
Just every time.
Luckily, your truck's pretty tall too. Like you have
Yeah, the big train.
that
Big
camper on
brown.
the back. You know,
The biggest problem is as I get up to the top, there's less and less weight
Yes.
in the back. So
can
I'm
hear-
I'm chirping just to, and I'm bouncing it back almost.
Here's
Like
the
Tigger.
greatest thing about Sunday.
TTFN.
Oh, jeez.
To answer the hat's question, we got about 10 minutes left to tell you about a 2-hour story.
Oh, man.
It was a 6-hour round trip.
Yeah,
Plus-
6 or 7, yeah.
But a
I can't
3-hour
take it
cruise.
anymore.
That's just driving.
All right, out
wait,
with it, fellas.
2 hours.
You've been looking for something for a while. You've been searching.
I've been looking for the right something for
Yes.
almost 6 years.
Yeah.
And I've had 5 of these that I thought were right and were not. So hopefully this one's right because
This one's right.
it's what I've been looking for. But anyhow, so we
Sorry.
run over to the marina after Phil leaves to grab a sandwich, and the phone rings, and I answer it. It's an odd number, and this guy calls me and says, "Hey, the boat that you called me about, I have a guy that's ahead of you. So do you still want it?" Which I thought was very odd.
Right.
Like that's what he started with.
Nice courtesy call.
Yeah, I'm like, so you're
You're
calling me
second
to
in
tell
line,
me
bud.
that you suck, you lose, is what I was hearing. But no, so I found a really good open concept hull boat on Craigslist, which is about 99% of what I've been looking for, and for a long time. So I told him, with the help of Will, we told him kind of the right things to push him in the right direction to push this sail in my
Now, wait,
direction.
you gotta take a minute, and you have to tell us what you told this guy, because I know that there had to be some Uncle Catfish sweet talking.
He straight up got catfished.
Yeah,
I feel so bad for the other guy. You know,
he didn't even see it coming.
He didn't see it coming. Yeah. All right, fine. So the reason that I've been looking for a wide open concept boat with nothing in it, I don't want anything in it. There's no storage.
All welded.
All welded, aluminum hull, flat welded aluminum floor. There's literally nothing in it but a side console. There's no front casting deck. There's no back casting deck. From the transom to the bow, there's nothing. Side to side, super wide. Back in the day, this open concept boat is actually 82 inches wide, which they don't make anymore.
Extra wide. Yeah.
Wow.
Extra wide. So the reason I've been looking for one of these for a long time is because my father's wheelchair will fit in it, and he can wheel himself around.
Okay.
So sentimental to me. Not only that, but I like to stand up to fish, and catfishing with giant blue cat on the ground gives me lots more boat to play with in it. So it's not something that I took lightly in picking the hull out, but to pick this hull out is not easy to find unless it's riveted. This one's not riveted, and it's back in the day they made it out of 0.80 aluminum instead of a lot of the boats today are thinner than that. So it's a decent hull.
Heavy gauge.
It's an older boat,
that has been sitting around in a garage for 8 years. They put 2016 stickers on it, used it twice, and then put it back in the garage till 2018. So in the last 10 years, it's been used twice. It looks brand new.
It does.
It looks brand new.
The guy had 2 of them.
The guy had 2 of them, and I wanted the other one, but he's not ready to sell, but he will eventually. I have a whole other story for him for that one. But considering the fact that my father is in a wheelchair and this is the right boat for him, I explained that to this guy. This is not something that I just need or want. It's something I've been looking for 6-7 years. This is why I need it, and I need it now because Dad don't have, many years left in him. So on top of that, we have a surprise coming up in a few weeks, and I need it for that.
Yeah.
Big
and
news
I'm running out of time.
later on.
Big news later on. I'm running out of time for that. It's not a quick changeover period either for me to get a boat, get it in my name, get it inspected by Lake Mead, get insurance on it.
Go on vacation.
Go on vacation.
The private lake that you live at, you have to have a little bit more hoops to jump through to have a boat put on that lake.
It is, yeah.
So,
you might as well have a hula hoop on and dance on your head to get it ready. Once it's all done, you're good to go.
Camera
Does that cost $30 extra?
I tried to prepare for it with the zipper woolly woo that Phil did the other day, the cartwheel thing. So anyhow, let's get back.
Yeah.
Let's get back to
The zipper
story.
wheel.
the zipper wheel. Stevie said, what did I told him, here's the thing. Normally you use a sob story to get your way, or you lie. I didn't lie, but I used a sob story to get my way. But it's a true sob story.
Yeah.
And so it turns out this guy has a very sick wife that just is recently diagnosed sick, and we're praying for her.
Yeah.
And she's going to do great. So I talked to this man. Turns out to be one of the kind-heartedest, outgoing, amazing men. Showed up like the only guy in New Jersey to jump out with camouflage on, with his brother with camouflage on.
Wow.
And he has a deaf, slightly issued son.
The cochlear implants.
Yeah.
Okay.
So he's sympathetic to my father's needs. So what he tells me is he's like, okay, well, let me call you back. Let me ask the boss, which I took was his wife. So we're sitting there at the marina, backing up. We're going to get a sandwich, and I'm debating on whether or not to order. And I realized by the time I'm off the phone, we'll order. So I'm like, yeah, Chad, the marina Lake Mead, and like, make me some jalapeno poppers because they're quick. So he's making jalapeno poppers for me. He's getting his sandwich made. 5 minutes later, this guy calls me back. I called the other guy. He can't get here till Wednesday. I said, okay. He said, if you bring cash and you come today, I'll sell it to you because I understand why you need it. I said, done.
It's Sunday.
It is Sunday. It's Sunday.
Sunday afternoon.
And
It's
there's
12
people on the corners just making loans.
Yeah, it's 12:30. It's 12:30, and we're waiting for our lunch, and I needed to leave 5 minutes ago if this is going to happen.
Put a rush on it,
If anybody
Chad.
doesn't know, you can only get so much money out of an ATM.
Me, and depending on what bank you have and what debit card you have,
Yeah.
it's only so much. Me, it's $200 a day.
Yeah.
Yes. The boat price was a really good price for the boat, the motor, the trailer.
Probably more than $200, though, I would suspect.
Yes, like $3,500, yes. So I looked at Will, and I knew in my heart that I had at least $1,300, roughly $1,300 cash at the house.
For your trip.
For my, trip to Puerto Rico.
Your vacation with your wife.
To help orphans and displaced fish from the hurricane. That's coming up later. We'll talk about it later. I'm never going back to Honduras. It's now power outage Puerto Rico. So
makes sense.
Yes. I literally told him without thinking, I have the money, I'll be there. Because he couldn't accept the check because of some personal reasons with getting money for his boy or whatever. So I hang up the phone, tell him we'll be there in 4 hours. And I looked straight at Will and went, I don't know what to do. The greatest part was when I looked at Chad that owned the marina, which was playing Wish You Were Here from Pink Floyd on his guitar for us, sitting there chilling because there's no, I'm like, Chad, you got
no rush on Sunday. He's just hanging out.
Yeah, he's just hanging out. Like, Chad, you got $2,000 cash? Like, because I don't have it. I'm short. I can give it to you on Monday.
Oh, a little
What'd the Hamburglar say? I'd gladly pay you Monday for 2 hamburgers
tomorrow for.
So then I frantically start thinking, man, come on, somebody's got to have $2,000 cash on a Sunday sitting around. And I won't go through my list of people that I started to call.
Yeah, well, I mean, why would you?
No, but anybody who
Don't
knows
give
me,
up your sources.
anybody who knows me knows I don't like to ask for help. But I did make at least 6 phone calls, and one of them was to Trash Panda, which apparently doesn't have any money laying around. We won't tell you who Trash Panda is. Thank you, Trash Panda. I love you so much. He would have helped me. He would have gave me the shirt off his back had he had it.
Yeah.
But on Sunday, who has $2,000 laying around?
We learned a lesson too. I mean, like not that I'm saying you got to have some kind of emergency something.
Emergency funds. In case
emergency boat fund.
Well, what if a Hobie comes up for like $1,000 on a Sunday, and they're like, "Come here now, or you don't get it." Because had we not gone Sunday, we wouldn't have got this boat. So, long story short, I tell Will, like Chad sets his sandwich in front of him as I get the green light to leave for New Jersey. I told Will, I was like, "Dude, eat that."
I remember it being tasty, but it didn't last long.
No,
and it was a hoagie. Like it was like a
foot long.
I didn't even eat my jalapeno poppers. They went with us in the truck, and I said, "Let's go." So as we're driving around, I'm not going to tell you who I got the money from.
It was just, things. What happened was everything lined up crazy.
Couldn't have been more perfect. Even though we had anxiety about things not working, everything worked.
Everything worked.
Step after step after step after step, it was perfect.
Their dad was a notary.
Yes.
Really?
On a Sunday in New Jersey.
He just popped over.
He's like, "Oh yeah, hey," pulled over in a minivan. Yeah, we'll get there though.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, that stuff like that
level
was
of
like things putting.
Phil's house happened to be perfectly on the way to drop Will's truck off.
Oh man!
I was
Stars were aligned.
Yeah,
I was like gonna do it on Cabela's or something. I'm driving right past Phil's, and I'm like, no way. So I call Phil. I'm like, "Bud, can I drop my truck off of your?" And Phil's getting ready to go to a wrestling banquet.
Yeah.
And I'm like, "Can I drop my truck off?" And he's like, "Why?"
We're coming.
And he was like, "Cool, but why?" And
I'm
I'm
not
like,
telling you.
What are you up to? Because I knew something was going down because I could hear it
You
in
just
the voice.
left and we're at your house.
But if you could imagine, it was like Step Brothers when they decided that they're going to do some activities that night. That was the excitement in the voices. Like you knew, like activities.
Will has known me a long time. You don't see that in me very often.
Yeah. Well, I said, Phil, I can't tell you, but maybe it has something to do with Catfish buying something in New Jersey.
It was like watching two little boys building getting a go-kart or something.
We totally did a NASCAR pit stop at Phil's too. I didn't even stop the truck. Will jumped out, ran, and dove in the truck.
Right, and I did. I set it up to him. Like, don't come out. Don't even come out. Just, maybe wave.
I came out and just waved at him.
Don't. We can't talk. We can't talk right now.
Can't talk. Gotta go.
Good luck. Be safe.
So, we right before we went to Phil's, I went over to the house, left the dogs out, made another phone call to a really awesome person, and he said that doesn't live far from me, and said, I said, "Dude, I need $2,000 cash," and it isn't somebody that I talk to on a normal basis, every couple months,
Yeah.
But him and his wife, I could hear him in the background, saying, "Do we even have that?" Blah blah blah, and then they totally just like, "Can you come over in 5 minutes?" I'm like, "Yes." Like, because at this point, I didn't think I was going to come up with the cash and have to call this guy back,
right?
And be like, "I will take off work and be there tomorrow morning at 10 before this guy gets there."
Yeah, and you can't. I mean, we couldn't.
Crisp $100 bills, gave me the money.
He didn't want to do a check. The dude didn't want to do it, and he kind of like he didn't have the, even like the.
He didn't want to trade any
arrowheads,
buck semen.
I got 10 straws of
headgear's buck semen.
An old topper. But I don't think he had the electronic, the electronic banking where you could just take a picture and it would clear and all. Like he was just kind of a simple dude.
And here's the crazy thing: everything about some of it was odd. like the boat wasn't even parked at his house. It was parked at his like brother's, sister's,
No, it was
friend's
wife's-
house. Yeah.
Wife's aunt.
And they're like, oh, that's weird. But at the end of the day, we get there without a hitch. There was even a wreck on 581, which Will totally did a NASCAR trip
Can
up.
you imagine that?
We were going to be stuck in traffic for hours. This car looked like a tin can got stepped on by Godzilla. And Will took an exit ramp. We went up the exit
I was
ramp,
gonna
back,
go
on,
off.
the, back
Yeah.
on the off ramp, and we could see the wreck in miles of traffic because as we're racing up the highway to get there, and we could see this car crushed. And I looked at Will and I went, oh, buddy, touche, what a move.
I just knew
we got right back in front of
I
traffic.
knew a spy route. You know what I mean? It was going to be a little bit out of the way. But then when I pulled up to the top at the light, you could
Right
see
before Bass Pro.
You could see the accident was right before the exit.
And
The
not
on
a,
the
not
on
a
ramp.
single car. We had the highway to ourselves after that.
Like I said, things just lined up weird. And
It was about a 3-hour drive.
so when we got
3.5 hour drive.
we got to his house, like the guy was like, you know, telling us about the boat being in his aunt's and how the neighbors, you know, they're just, you know, they're grumpy neighbors. And
They don't
this
like
and
my boat parked in my yard.
Yeah. We get there and there's like 4 other boats.
4 other boats, and no wonder they don't like your boat.
One more is going to really make them mad.
Well,
2 wrapped around the side.
I'm in such a hurry, though. It's hard to be humble. His brother was attempting to tell me about the boat being winterized, and he took the hood off, and he was showing me the carburetor, and he was telling me how good these kinds of trailers were, and he was telling me about how it's all welded and how that's better. And I was really being humble, going, okay, that's cool. I just want to go. I've been around boats a long time, but I had to be really humble with his. I believe it was his brother or whatever. But
they were. It was probably an understatement to say that they were overly helpful.
Yes,
that's cool.
He turned out to be a couple of tree climbers too, which was crazy because I just paid some guy to climb trees, cut them down in my house. He's like, "I'll come to your house and cut your trees down. You take me fishing." And I'm like, "You just saved me like $1,800."
Come on,
Come
he needs
on
a
now.
week. He needs a week.
Some minor knickknacks with the boat, but the hull's perfect. The trailer was absolutely perfect, minus the VIN number wasn't on it. And in New Jersey, they don't need that.
Well,
that's a whole nother podcast.
That's even like taking a trailer and right away going on a 3-hour drive.
It's
gutsy.
It's gutsy.
That is amazing.
It's been
You had
sitting for years.
Yeah, that you had no problems. Like everything was aligned for you guys to get back.
But I totally asked this guy, like we're driving over to the house. When you tilt the motor up, it has that lever on it to lock it in the upright trans.
Mm-hmm.
The spring was broke, so the motor fell down. So we got out, and this guy, the tree climbing guy is, literally got all these ropes out and tied this motor up. And I'm tying it up, and he's looked at me, he's like, no, buddy, don't do that knot. Give me that. I'll show you how to tie a knot. And I'm going, no, he knew his stuff. He's like, if my guys aren't tied off right, they fall to trees and die. Give me that rope. So he tied the motor up, and we head over to his house. It's 2 miles away, he said, and we're twisted turn. We get up there. We get to meet his wife, his kids. I get to learn sign language, talking to his boy. We're there for an extremely long period of time to sign a title and wait for his dad to come over, and his Mastiff is smelling Will's, dog on him. It's a beautiful Mastiff. And long story short, we kind of turned into family after an hour and a half.
Yeah.
And really on the backside of your mind, not to be rude, but it's getting dark and we have a 3.5 hour drive with a trailer that I don't know.
Yeah.
But I said, hey, I need a grease gun for these bearings. Well, we greased it last year, but they got me a grease gun.
Yeah.
They got me tie downs. They got me tie straps, whatever, zip ties, gave me their license plate, whatever I need. Extremely helpful.
That's
awesome.
cool.
And so we were there for a long time. His wife was nice. His family was nice. We did the title. Father-in-law showed up, notarized everything for us in the van, gave me a pile of crap. He was hilarious. His no emotional face. Come in, he's like, well, I'm going to have to see some ID. And I handed him my driver's license. He goes, you got this shit out of a Cracker Jack box, didn't you? And I went, no. He's like, this is fake. I'm not doing this. And then everybody got quiet, and I'm like, I was thinking for a minute, dude, what an old jerk. And he looked at me, he's like, give me that. And he starts writing things down. He looked at me, he's like, he looked at me, he said, what did he say to me? He's like, "Are you a gas station attendant? Because you look like you pump gas for a living." Like he was hilarious. This guy was hilarious, and I have to sit in the minivan because he can't get out of the minivan to come in the house to do the paperwork. So we're out in the driveway, and he's giving me a pile of crap. And he looks over, and he looks at Will, and he's like, "Is that your brother?" He looks like your brother.
That might be a compliment in New Jersey because
they still do that, right?
You can't pump your own gas, so that's like a state employee job.
Oh, I didn't know that. So
yeah,
I didn't know that. I just thought he was picking on me.
We don't get all their jokes.
No,
he was throwing you a compliment.
Something about a horse head and kissing you, getting, you know.
I've bought other boats and other things off Craigslist. I'll tell you the story one day about trying to buy a washer and dryer. It doesn't always go right.
I love that story.
This couldn't have went any better. Literally, we were there for a long time, and the thought process of both me and Will being tired, it's been a long day, photo shoot, quick eating, trying to find $2,000, long trip up there. I wanted to go home.
3 events on Saturday.
Yes, I wanted to go home, and finally we leave. We get the license plate on. We're out in the driveway. We're out in the street, and it's getting dark. So now you really want to go.
Yeah.
And he comes around the backside of the boat, and he looks at me and Will, and he says, "Thank you so much, guys." And we had a totally great time with this guy, blah, blah, blah. As much as I wanted to leave, he's like, "Just one more question." I was like, "Okay, sure, go ahead. What's another 5 minutes?"
Yeah.
He said, "Do you guys know Jesus?" And I looked right at him and I said, "That's not a quick question. Like, how do I answer that?" I told you we want to get on the road.
Yeah.
So super cool. And he prayed for a safe trip home, and we gave each other blessings. Totally left with more than just a boat, left with a sense of there's really good people in this world.
Yeah. Still
Amen.
good people out there.
More than likely see this dude again.
Yes.
If he ever sells that other boat.
Yeah, that's right.
Or you need your trees trimmed up.
The last pit stop, though, of that was we got on the highway. He showed us how to get on the highway. We're running down 80.
Oh, my gosh, I forgot.
We're 10 minutes away. He calls me. I'm like, "All right. Yeah, hey, buddy, what's going on?" "I have the keys to the boat ignition." "Just pull over wherever you're at." I'm like, "I'm at exit 40-something.
Some major highway, 4 lanes.
8 lanes altogether. Yeah.
With a boat pulled over
A boat that I've never drove the trailer before. He's like, "I'll be right there." So like 25 minutes later, his wife, his real nice wife, pulls in, throws the keys out the window at me. "Bye, I know you're in a hurry."
Well, while we were waiting, though, we had to wait a little bit.
Yeah.
We broke out the honey
It
buns.
was the honeymoon time. So,
HBs.
Oh, yeah.
Nice.
so
that
really
was
long
awesome.
story short, on Sunday, it wasn't anybody can go buy a boat. It could be a brand new boat. It could be a used boat. It could be a kayak. Will saw it in me. This isn't something that I wanted. My wife was like, I couldn't get a hold of Lacey when I was looking for the $2,000. I already knew I was leaving. Like, she called us. We were already past Phil. She's like, "Oh, hey, I saw you called." I'm like, "Yeah, I'm headed to New Jersey." She said, "For what?" I said, "To buy a boat." She's like, "Okay, good luck. Make sure you like it." Totally supportive.
Nice.
Didn't even ask me how much money it was. Just go, have fun. So a lot of things were in line here, too. It's not something that I looked for a week or
We're
a
brushing
month.
over a lot of things, too.
Yeah, wanted. This is something that the people at work that work with me know that I've skipped out on tons and tons of work because my eyes are glued to Craigslist for 6 years for the right boat.
You've had lots of boat
Not the right
deals fall
boat.
through, too.
Oh,
right?
and that's why I told him.
Yeah.
Remember, Will, I told him, I said, "Dude, I've had 4 boats taken out from underneath me. One I drove to. I literally called the guy and drove to D.C., and as I was pulling in, there was no boat. I could see where the boat tracks were in the yard from the trailer, and he's like, "Oh, some guy just pulled through and bought it." I'm like, "I just drove here from Pennsylvania, and you sold it. I told you I was on my way." So it worked out. It's in the yard right now. It needs little minor details to get her up and running, but it's going to help out with some future events, and we're going to have a good time with it. So,
All right.
Nice.
Little two thing, one more thing is that.
yeah. Did I forget stuff?
No, not much of it. We doubled down on the dude. I called him too and said that I wanted the boat.
Oh yeah.
Did he recognize the voice when you got there? No.
I didn't hear a peep from him. So, like, I mean, it was legit.
We tried to buy it both of us.
You were getting it one way or another.
I feel bad, kind of, for the guy that didn't get it. But here's the thing, though. That guy, he said, it's crazy. When you go down to New Jersey in this area, there are lakes everywhere.
That was
legitimately lakes on the Google Maps everywhere.
And mountains.
Yeah.
And he said that a lot of lakes are 40 horsepower or less.
Okay.
Some of them are 10 horsepower less. Some of them are
9.9s.
unlimited. So everybody has two boats. They have a big boat and a little boat. And he sold us his smaller of the two boats. And so the guy that was coming to buy it already had a big boat. He was looking for, so I don't feel bad for him. He already has
whenever I have something that I'm going to buy and like say I can't make it till Wednesday, I'm always like, hey, if you sell it before me, go ahead, or hey, I'll pay a little extra if you hold it for me. I won't jip you down on the price. I'll pay full asking price if you wait till Wednesday.
Otherwise, you're getting deked.
Yeah. if I'm coming cash in hand, better be able to negotiate because it's going to happen.
Well, I have to thank Brother Will because I thank you because it would have been a long. I mean, that turned into like 9 hours.
A lot to do alone.
Yeah, it was 6.5 plus 7 hours of just driving.
Yeah, we got in late.
Yeah, we got in real late, and without even blinking an eye, without a stutter, after a long morning already, he just looked right at me. He's like, "I'm going. Let's go."
Let's roll.
Jumped in the truck, and yeah. And here's the crazy thing too.
We do what we do.
We jumped in the truck and we rolled out with that trailer. And from the time we left his house to the time I backed it down my driveway and made that 90-degree dog leg, I never once knew the boat was on the truck.
Really?
The truck has no clue.
No kidding.
I went from 20 miles to the gallon to 19, but couldn't tell it. Not uphill, not downhill, not stopping, nothing.
That's great.
And it's all that trailer. It's just a
The trailer's way overkill for the boat.
overkill for the boat. Yeah.
It's like for a 20-foot boat with a 16-foot boat on it. Yeah, it's way overkill. But that makes the trailer nice.
Yeah.
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 Awesome. So
I can't wait to see it.
Guys, this has been awesome.
We got
update you on
Just
the.
another great week.
We got swept away today.
Yes, we did.
Didn't we? Swept away right up in the current.
So now that we talked
sound
about it on the
effect.
podcast, after this comes
Timely.
out, I'll post some pictures of it. And I might even do some video as we transfer it over from a side console to a center console because I'm gonna.
Are you gonna do that?
I'm gonna put the side console up forward and transfer some stuff around down the road. Probably not till late fall, but next year it'll look totally different. We're gonna paint it to match the gray trucks.
Ryan's gonna try and paint it green.
He might have some paint left
He wants,
over.
he wants another putting green.
Yeah.
We got to match it up. We can like pitch off of the one boat onto the other boat and then put it in.
The SS bent grass.
I'm happy. I've had lots of boats. I've this altogether. I think I've had 7 boats in my life, and none of them have truly been anything that I wanted. But the all welded hull, open concept boat, I think that I'll use it more. Flounder fishing, bass fishing, river catfishing.
Congratulations.
It's kind of the all around boat.
Yeah.
Zero excuses now.
Zero
Congratulations.
excuses.
Good on you.
So you can name it. If I can name your kayak, I'm gonna. If
Oh,
I can
boy.
name your kayak, you can name the boat.
All right. It's probably not appropriate for a podcast.
Not for the current. We'll save it for the Sonic campfire.
Stevie's kayak should be called Master Splinter
Master Splinter.
because he built it himself.
I don't get it.
You
I don't
said
know.
you
That's
took it out, but
nice.
we still haven't heard
I'm on
stories.
cough medicine.
In the next current, I would like to hear how
And
you're enjoying
antibiotics.
kayak fishing in the next current.
Oh yeah, we'll get it. We'll get there.
Phil,
How can they find us, guys?
bam! Where can they find us?
He's out. Got him.
660-inch buck. Look him up. It's called Headgear.
How does he even keep his head up
I
with
don't
that much weight on it?
That was my nickname when I had braces.
Headgear.
Headgear. Yeah.
Deke, where can they find us?
You can find us at ruttenriverpursuit.com. You can find us on Instagram, YouTube, Facebook. Just search Red River Pursuit Podcast. Look us up on Instagram.
Instabook.
Bam!
Yeah. Look us up on iTunes, Stitcher, Google Play, and CastBox. Check us out all individually on all social media outlets. Have a great week, everybody.
Deuces.
Later.
See ya.
Rig and weedless.
I heard you pushing kids out of the way so you could fish.
Yes.
Is that a true story?
No, that
I got
yes.
it on film.
not at all. Not
Yes.
at all.
No, no, no. Let
Short
me
drifting was on the menu.
He's teaching his kid to short drift.
So
listen. He was like, what are those monarch or whatever penguins? Like he had his
Emperor penguin.
Emperor, yeah. The emperor penguin. Like he had his like little girl stand on his feet while he whipped the lures out.
Yeah.
Watching Will versus Stevie pick fishing spots. Stevie wins hands down.
In what way?
I learned what BAM is
What's that?
because I tried in the auction. I tried to buy a
Trank.
I tried to buy a tranquilizer
Oh,
gun
no way.
out of the auction.
did you?
He bid on it, but he
Did it.
lost.
Yeah, I bid on it. But one of the girls that worked Kim today did not believe me that the capital of Roatan is called Cox and Hole. And it is. Look it up. That's their capital.
I don't believe it.
I don't
Look
believe
it
it
up.
either.
It's
All right, hold on, notes.
Go ahead.
Who's going to Google that?
capital of Roatan? Get it? You're not
Put
lying.
it up. Put it up.
Cox and Hole.
I had to say it over and over at work.